What is up, guys? Welcome back to the third episode of the Thank God for Wrestling podcast. I'm host one of two, Johnny King.
I'm host two of two, CJ McClure.
After some technical difficulties, we are back. We are back in action. I'm just a little slow today, but we're going to get into some Raw, and then we're going to get into some Smackdown. If we have time, we're going to do our special prompt like usual. But I'm going to be honest, I really was not a fan of Raw this week. I really don't have much to say. Like, I watched the whole show for the 3 hours, but I don't really have much to say. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I did not watch all of Raw. I did catch up on YouTube, and a little bit on Bleacher Report. I thought it was okay. I have a few positive things to say, but we'll get into it.
Yeah. So the first thing from Raw was Imperium versus Riddle and Drew McIntyre. Drew and Riddle ended up taking the win, and then they planted a little bit of seeds of like breakup in Imperium. I don't really want them to break up so soon, but after the match, Ludwig, Kaiser, and Gunther were like frowning upon Vinci. And yeah, I just don't want them to end too early.
I definitely don't think it should be premature. I'll play devil's advocate and say that I'm just not that all in on Kaiser and Vinci. I think it is a kind of a solid faction with Imperium. I think eventually, to make the group more credible, if you will, and not just Gunther driven, give those guys the tag titles.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I like when factions have a lot of gold.
Yeah. Imperium will look great with all those belts, bro. Especially if Gunther ends up winning the world heavyweight, bro. Those pictures would be clean, bro.
It would be just with the belts would look fire.
Yeah, facts. And so the next thing was there's Judgment Day filled almost this whole 3 hours. They had so many segments. But Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins was supposed to have a match, but then a brawl started taking place that included Kevin and Sammy and also the rest of the members of the Judgment Day. So it got changed to the main event, which was a six-man tag, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But yeah, I really didn't honestly want to see a solo match versus Dom and Seth anyway, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I don't like seeing repetitiveness, repeated one-on-one matches back-to-back weeks, unless we have a solid reason for it.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's in a way I actually am kind of glad that they changed the main event to keep it remotely fresh. But
Yeah.
okay, I love Seth, bro, but I gotta kind of critique this thing. I do like a bit of his not goofy, but just like over the top gimmick and character, but just the I love buffalo wings. Don't get me wrong, but just the wing things with Dom, I'm like, first
Dude.
off, you're not even eating them. It's just bite, throw,
Mm-hmm.
bite, throw. But
Mm-hmm.
second off, I'm just like, I mean, why? I mean, I didn't think it was terrible. We've definitely seen worse. So I'm just like, but
Yeah.
why? You know?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, this is hot take. I do not like this Seth Rollins character, bro. I can't take it serious. Like it was cool for a little bit, but the laughing, like, nah, bro. I'm kind of over it. Like I can't take him as serious as I used to take him when he was like the architect or you know. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
I
just a
guess it
hot take
is.
though.
I guess it is getting a little watered down. I remember I didn't like it initially. Like I remember I didn't like Monday Night Messiah initially. Then it grew on me. I didn't like the Visionary initially. I didn't even like his theme song, but then it grew on me. And I guess the
Mm-hmm.
reason I started liking it is because I saw that entrance of the Visionary theme song live. We were singing it when I went
Okay,
there.
yeah.
But so maybe I'm a little biased in that regard. But I don't know, bro. I mean, and I know you probably have some stuff to say on the world heavyweight title, and I'm going to go ahead and read your mind on this. It might be time for a title change.
Bro, definitely. I think it is. I think Finn needs it. Finn needs to go completely like unhinged Finn and just beat Seth and then have the Judgment Day stuff play out. And then I would like to see Finn like solo with the title run as the heel that I know everyone knows he can be.
Right.
And then after the Dominic and Seth stuff took place with Judgment Day. Logan Paul and Ricochet They had a promo. They gave Ricochet mic time. We haven't heard Ricochet talk on the mic in I don't know when, bro. He never gets mic time. He just goes in the ring, does flips, and then goes home. But Logan Paul and Ricochet had a war of words, bro. Hot take: Logan Paul destroyed Ricochet, bro.
He is better on the mic than Ricochet. Ricochet has never really been that good at cutting promos for the most part. He's had very little moments where it's like, okay, that wasn't bad. I don't want to get too off track, but I can't help but think back of Cesaro. We all love Cesaro. Freakish athlete, could put on great matches, couldn't really cut a promo,
Yeah.
and I think it was Brock Lesnar that said that you can put on good matches to live long day, but if you can't connect with the audience on the mic remotely, you're not going to be successful. And I just feel like Ricochet, the potential's always been there, but he hasn't been that good at cutting promos. Like I feel like the clip that really kind of describes his promo and his career is, I think it was for Money in the Bank or whatever, but he goes, "I didn't come here to talk," and Drew goes, "Then shut up," and
Mm-hmm.
just cut off, and then Ricochet
Mm-hmm.
didn't say anything else, whether that was scripted or not. I thought he was a little better this time around. I think he had a little more confidence, but yeah, Logan kind of overshadowed him. But be that as it may, I like that they had the segment. I think it was a good segment to build up their match. I like seeing Ricochet, jump over the top rope, land on his feet again, because obviously he's a freakish athlete and he's good at that.
Mm-hmm.
So I still like this segment, but yeah, I mean Logan Paul. I mean I think he won the war of words, but obviously Ricochet got the last laugh.
Yeah, the crowd just didn't pop for Ricochet when he did the flip. Like I thought they were going to. So I kind of
And to
felt
be
like,
fair, I was going to say to be fair, we've seen that before.
yeah, we saw it with Velveteen Dream. So I just feel like that's still crazy though, the fact that he can do that. But is Logan Paul right, bro? Like he is just kind of there to do crazy TikTok moves. Like,
So not to like live in the past, but that was a hot take that I didn't get to on our first episode after Money in the Bank. So the hot take was this, and it's kind of similar to what you did, really what Logan Paul said. Ricochet is the new Kofi Kingston, but for Money in the Bank matches. And what I mean by that is, you know how Kofi has
mm-hmm,
always been in the Royal Rumble match, has been known for
mm-hmm,
his spots, like, oh, Kofi
mm-hmm.
saved himself. Ricochet has been that for ladder matches of the crazy spots he can do.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Because Kofi
He
would never let his feet touch the ground. He would walk in his hands and stuff. And now Ricochet's
right.
doing it. Yeah, okay, I see that.
Yeah, like they don't get me wrong, love Ricochet. I'd like to see him get another more run. He can put on great matches. He
Mm-hmm,
can. But
mm-hmm.
I think they're like ladder match goes around, put Ricochet in for the crazy spots, get the crowd reactions.
Yeah,
They're not putting him in because they see him as a future world champion. At least
yeah.
not yet. But
I
that's just
just
my hot take, and Logan Paul is kind of right in that area.
yeah, I just feel like Ricochet is gonna be like a permanent mid Carter. That sounds so horrible, but like I don't know. I just don't think I could ever, or I don't think WWE would push him to be like a world champion.
He low key needs a heel turn, but I don't know. See, like think back with Neville back in the cruiserweight division. Like when he turned heel, he still put on good matches, but he
Mm-hmm.
limited his high flying moves because why would a heel do high flying moves? That's going to pop the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I just don't know if like let's just say hypothetically he did turn heel to make his character better, then he could become a future world champion.
Mm-hmm.
How is he going to put on good matches when most of his arsenal is high flying flippy stuff?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But even Pac or Neville, but Pac now in
Yeah,
AEW, he still does flippy stuff, but not as much as he used to. He did kind of like cut it down now that he's a heel. He's more like just aggressive, and then he does like the crazy splashes and stuff, but like the
right.
450s and stuff. But yeah, I feel like he would benefit from a heel turn. I actually like that idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see. But nonetheless, I like the segment to move the feud forward. I think they're going to put on a banger at SummerSlam.
yeah. All right, Becky Lynch versus Zoe Stark. They let Zoe Stark get the win. I love Zoe Stark. I'm not a hater of Zoe Stark. I love her NXT stuff. I love her on the main roster. But I don't know if she should have got the win versus Becky so early, even though it wasn't completely clean, but it wasn't completely dirty. So it was like kind of in the middle. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just ready for this Trish, Zoe, Becky stuff to end, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I've been trying to play devil's advocate for a while and give them the benefit of the doubt. I love Trish, love Becky. Zoe's starting to grow on me. I think her being with Trish is going to help her in the long run. Triple H clearly sees something in her ever since NXT. But yeah, they got to wrap up the feud at SummerSlam and then give him else something to do.
Yeah, they can't keep drawing it out because now it's just getting like, bro, it's the same thing every week. Trish coming
Yeah.
out saying her boring lines, and yeah. But next thing, Maxine Dupree graduates. Already know how you feel about this. You already know how I feel about this.
I don't
Just
care for it at
yeah,
all. It's not entertaining to me. Little potential of Maxine Dupree, but I'm just not. I mean, I'm more interested in Chelsea Green, if that tells you something. And
yo,
I
same.
mean, I mean, and just we need to eventually split up Alpha Academy or like give them a new. Well, I guess maybe they're giving them a new feud with the Viking Raiders, and we
Yeah,
already kind of talked about it last week. The Viking Raiders are. I'm not trying to hate, but they're just kind of dead. They need to be repackaged,
yeah,
and
they're not where they were in NXT.
they
And I blame that on Vince because that happened to Karrion Kross too. But
right.
we'll talk about him when we get to SmackDown.
Yeah,
But yeah, they Valhalla attacked them, the Viking Raiders attacked them. Nothing, just some sports entertainer stuff to keep the feud going. They stole the jacket, the varsity jacket. So now I guess their feud is over. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I can tell Triple H isn't writing this one. But next one was Shayna Baszler versus Emma. It was a squash match, but then Shayna and Ronda had a little scrap afterwards. And bro, they actually looked like they were fighting. They were like hitting each other, throwing each other hard. It was crazy.
definitely gave off a little more real. I should say realistic, but I guess just MMA vibes. And I mean, yeah, I like this. I think it's what it needed to be to move the story forward and to build up their match at SummerSlam, give them the time. It's going to be a good match at SummerSlam. And I don't think it'd be a bad idea if they made it a fight pit match, like with
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle. I'm
Yeah.
down for either or normal fight pit, but I think they would probably benefit from the fight pit.
Yeah, nah, a fight pit would be crazy. And I feel like the crowd would be more inclined to see that too.
Right.
Yeah. And then we have Cody Rhodes cuts a promo. I'm gonna actually go to what I said about this. I said the American boring mayor, Cody Rhodes. Dude, Cody sucks. And then, dude, I kind of got into like a like not an argument on Twitter, but I was like, bro, Cody is just like at this moment in time, I said Cody Rhodes is just boring. Like I really don't care what he's doing on the roster at this point in time. And the dude was like, bro, he's one of the greatest. Do you see how he's a great wrestler? Do you see how the crowd reacts? I'm like, I never say he wasn't a great wrestler. I just said at this moment in time, he's boring. And I just say that because I just feel like they don't know what to do with him because he didn't beat Roman. So they just have he eventually he's going to finish the story, but now they have to figure out what he's gonna do in between him not beating Roman and trying to finish the story. And I just think now it's like because Brock's not here every week, Cody's just coming out doing these promos, trying to connect with the crowd. And I don't know, maybe it's just not for me. I don't know. That's hot take though.
So do you really think it's so much that he's boring, or do you just think you're not as invested as the storyline that he's in comparison to when he was feuding with Roman?
Nah, bro. Like when he first came, I was a fan because I watched him in AEW. I was like, I knew he would fit in WWE, but I just feel like he he want like they're gonna obviously he wants to be a face. He even said that he doesn't want to be a heel.
Right.
But I just feel like he's so I don't want to use vanilla, but you know what I mean. He comes out in the same suits, the clean cut, the same type of promos, trying to pull the emotional strings of the audience. But I just feel like if he would turn heel, bro, he could be such a good heel. Like his New Japan stuff with the Bullet Club, bro, it was so good, bro. Like he was such a great heel. And I feel like he would benefit so much from a heel turn, like character wise and wrestling wise, but obviously not company wise. And that's what they're looking for, you know.
I agree with you. I think he'd be a good heel. I mean, he's clearly capable of doing it, and maybe this is the first time on our show that we're just we full on disagree on something.
Yeah,
I
we can. Yeah,
yeah,
bro.
right. And I mean, and just I guess I'm gonna just play devil's advocate. I mean, and I said it last week. They're taking the long way around. They got to finish everyone else's story in the bloodline, and they were gonna come back full circle with Cody and
Yeah.
Roman. Cody's prophecy came true. Roman lost everything, yet
Mm-hmm.
but the titles, and then Cody beats him.
Mm-hmm.
I I will give you this. Like, yes, it is the same entrance, same moments, same suit. Yes, I can't argue with that. But it's his gimmick. It's his character. Of course it is. Look
Mm-hmm.
at John Cena.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I know he's a part timer now, but and granted, there's a different reason why he's getting the same pops, or I mean, the pops he is now because we know he's going to retire in the next few years. But
Mm-hmm.
this is just Cody's gimmick. Look at Undertaker in the home stretch of his career. Same thing. So I
Yeah.
mean, and maybe this isn't a fair comparison. I'm comparing Cody to these legends, but entrance is still getting pops. They're still singing to his song.
Mm-hmm.
They're still getting louder every week with the woe. So he's
Yeah.
still staying relevant. And Cody is good at cutting promos. He's much better in his run in WWE now than he was before
Oh, for
with cutting
sure.
promos. And I think, like you already kind of said, he does get the reactions out of the crowd. And Cody speaks with a purpose. He speaks articulate.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I almost had a comparison where it was like he like preaches to the crowd. It's almost like he's delivering a sermon, bro. Like
Okay.
especially the way he was like everyone has their own Brock Lesnar in their life. And I was
And
like,
he ain't wrong, to be
yeah,
honest.
facts, yeah.
But I will say this needs to wrap up at SummerSlam. This is clearly the rubber match, like Cody
Mm-hmm.
threw out. I just don't know if Cody's gonna win or not.
Bro,
I
he
don't
has to
know.
win, right? He has to, right?
Like, yes, on one hand, it's like, yes, he needs to win to make him credible. Like, okay, Cody and Roman have beaten Brock Lesnar clean, hopefully, at one point of their careers. So that
Yeah.
makes them like, okay, now they're back again feuding for the title. But I don't know. I guess I mean to look at another perspective, like if they're taking the John Cena route after he lost to The Rock to come full circle and win the title, does he lose this feud to make him go through adversity even more?
Yeah, that's one because the whole Rhodes family is built on hard times. Like,
Right.
I mean, I guess it would make for a good like picture after like he loses to Brock the third for the rubber match. He's in the ring, hands on his head. Brock is smiling, so it could make for a good story to help him climb back. But I just don't want him to get pushed down too bad where it's hard for him to come back up. But then again, everyone's still gonna love him anyway, so it really doesn't matter
Right.
what they do with him.
I guess you could argue if he lost, it would still maybe make the crowd get behind him more, and it makes him more of the chaser that he is. But at the same time, when he lost to Brock back at Clash Night of Champions, he didn't tap out. He passed, and they did that to make him stronger. Like, I don't want to
Hmm.
compare him to Steve Austin, but like Steve didn't tap out to Brett. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like he lost, but like, oh, he never submitted, he never tapped out. And that
Hmm.
that got behind Steve even more. And I mean,
Hmm.
the kind of the same thing with Cody, but patience is key, my friend. Before you know it, it's going to be WrestleMania. Before you know, the story's going to be finished, and then it's a new era once Roman loses.
Yeah, facts. I
We,
was
we,
on
we,
Twitter, bro, and this dude was like, he was like, he said the same thing. He was like, Cody is so boring. I'm sorry, y'all. Can we just hurry up and finish the story? And then I replied, I was like, 5,000 whoas later, and he finishes the story. But, all right. Next thing, The Miz versus Tommaso Ciampa. They had the no DQ match, bro. I'm loving the new Ciampa. I like the match, even though it ended in no DQ because of Bronson Reed. But that makes me feel like they're gonna reunite DIY. So then at SummerSlam we might get a DIY versus the Miz and Bronson, which I'm totally down for.
yeah, I'm down for it too. Johnny has been okay since he came up on the main roster. Granted, he's been injured a few times here and there. Um, First off, Miz's first win of 2023.
No, for
Um,
real.
yeah, like you said, good match. I'm liking Champa. Sidebar, bring Johnny Gargano's old theme song back.
Yeah, why did they change it? Who is this
That's
singing, bro? I've noticed that and I was like, bro, why would they change it? It
like
it
like as
doesn't
soon
even
as that
sound the
happened,
same.
Right, like, it's like when they did that last year when he came back, it was just like a deflated balloon going, I
Yeah. I
was
was
like,
like,
"Why?"
bro. I was like, I don't like this.
But yeah, I'd be down for that. I just hope that this is a short-term thing with Bronson. He needs to have just stay by himself because he's a
Yeah.
powerhouse and he has the
Yeah.
capability of running through people. But I also hope I'll say this. I hope they bring serious Miz back. Like Miz from like
Yo,
2016,
I'm
2018. Bring that
saying,
Miz
bro,
back.
he could honestly have a short championship run as a heel. Cause,
You could.
bro, yeah, I'm forever a Miz defender and a Dolph Ziggler defender, bro. I'll forever
Yeah.
defend those two.
I mean, I don't think Miz has anything left to prove, so I wouldn't doubt that I'm not gonna be surprised if he doesn't get a championship run for the rest of his career.
Yeah, yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
Bros main evented WrestleMania, even though that match was but that's a separate subject.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Two-time world champion, Money in the Bank, I mean Grand Slam champion,
Yeah,
tons of IC
two-time
title reigns.
Grand Slam champion,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Yeah,
true. Yeah, I mean, like Miz has accomplished a lot. Great on the mic, great character. I think he's low key at the stage of his career where he's in the giving back
yeah,
part.
like Dolph.
Like,
Like they
yeah,
just know their role, know why they're there, you know?
right, like as the veteran. But no, yeah, I say bring him back as serious Miz, especially if they want to have a Johnny Miz feud and a
Mm-hmm.
Ciampa Miz feud. But if they're gonna bring back DIY, I hope it's I don't want to say a one time thing because we know the pattern. DIY comes back and then they feud, you know.
Yeah.
But for
Mm,
Bronson specifically, I just hope that this is a one time thing. That Bronson and Miz don't become a huge tag team. I don't know that
yeah.
doesn't sound interesting to me.
And
But
honestly,
we'll
I
see.
would maybe like a Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano feud on a Raw would help the show, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
maybe build it to the Royal Rumble in
yeah,
WrestleMania 16.
yeah. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green defeat Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. I wasn't mad at Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green won because I think Chelsea Green is a star, but I just don't like them being. I don't like Katana and Chance being fed to them. Like Katana and Chance are like a real tag team. They started in NXT. They were NXT tag team champions. They're like an actual tag team, not just two girls that were thrown together. You know?
Right. Yeah, and that's a valid point. I wasn't really that interested in this match just because, to be fair, I don't really watch NXT. I
Mm-hmm.
relatively keep up with it, but I don't keep up with it like I used to in the Black and Gold era.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, even in the Black and Gold era, I would really just watch takeovers, and the promos would give me all the catching up I needed. With
Yeah.
the occasionally articles I've read on Bleacher Report, I really only watched one full episode of NXT in my life, to tell you the truth. But
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't into this match. Seemed no, that's a different match, but that's a valid point. Yeah, they are a legit tag team versus they're just put together. The other two
Yeah.
just I don't know. It was filler to me. If I would have been there, I would have
Yeah.
went to the
It
bathroom
was
during
filler.
the match.
No, I honestly think I went to make one of my meals, bro. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
Yeah. And last thing on Raw, Owen, Zayn, and Rollins versus Mysterio, Balor, and Priest. This match had like a whole bunch of stuff behind it. Apparently there was like an argument between the people between them backstage and Gorilla after it, about the finish and how some spots were messed up, which some spots were like Sammy went for a Blue Thunder bomb and like he messed it up a little bit. I think he went for it on Finn and that kind of didn't work out. And then Finn went for a sling blade on Rollins and like it kind of didn't work out either. So yeah, no one really knows technically what the argument was specifically about, but they said it wasn't like a fight. It was just like a heated discussion after.
yeah, and I only saw the Blue Thunder, but like I was gonna say, like from what I did see on YouTube, it didn't seem that bad. But again, I didn't see the
Yeah.
full match. Like I saw the Blue Thunder bomb botch, and like hear me out. It actually still kind of looked cool despite being a botch. Like I know, like it looked like he just slipped out of his
Yeah,
hands,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
It didn't
Finn
make the
just
full.
spun and then landed, and
Yeah.
then they kind of had to improvise. Um, but we were texting about it, and I sent you that video. And to quote Steve and Taker, and it really in my mind wasn't that bad. But I'm not a wrestler, and those
Mhm.
wrestlers are their biggest critics, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
just a bad night in the business. Again, we weren't there, but I'm only going off speculation. I'm sure their heated discussion in the back was just it was just passion, right? It's their job. They love it. They
Yeah.
want to do it well. But six-man tags are a little hard to coordinate at times. It was the main event of Raw. They were just probably a little disappointed in themselves. Learn from it and move on. Like as fans, like I'm not going to be critical on this one. Mistakes do happen.
Yeah, facts. All right, so that's it for Raw. Now we're gonna move on to SmackDown. SmackDown was very mid, I would say. The show kicked off with Bianca Belair saying how she's gonna beat Asuka in her match later. And then she was interrupted by Charlotte Flair. And this is the thing that's crazy, bro. So her and Charlotte Flair came out and they were basically talking about like they were talking about Asuka like she's gonna lose tonight. Like she Bianca was like, once I beat Asuka, you can be the first one to fight for the championship. And Charlotte was like, they were just basically acting like Asuka just wasn't worthy to be champion. Like they were already talking in the future, like Bianca was gonna beat her later, which I didn't really appreciate. I don't know. And that makes me feel like they're gonna take the butt off Asuka soon, maybe. I don't know.
I just didn't really like this segment at all. It
Yeah, it
felt
was
forced, and it kind of felt like we were back in 2010 in the PG era.
yeah.
And this is a hot take for me, man. And I'm not hating, but just I'm kind of tired of Charlotte.
Dude,
And
there's only so much. She's already accomplished what she can accomplish.
right, and
And yeah, like she's already done everything she can. Like she has nothing left to give, you know?
which we really shouldn't say that because she does have a lot of years in her, and I'm sure they're going to make her a 16-time women's world champion, just replicate her father, fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She is great. She's accomplished a lot. Daughter of a legend, but just I think the reason I'm tired of her because Charlotte has always been the same. At least Bailey changed her character.
Yeah,
Becky became the man.
yeah.
Sasha, I guess you could argue, was always the same, but just still found a way to keep herself relevant. And
Mm-hmm.
now she's in New Japan. But Charlotte has become so repetitive to me, and I'm really not trying to hate because Charlotte has accomplished a lot. She has a 5-star match under her belt. Granted, Dave Meltzer is very controversial, but her and Rhea Ripley put on a 5-star match. That match was great. I
Yeah.
really did like that match. And Charlotte has put on a lot of great matches in her career so far. She has accomplished a lot, but I guess to me, she's always been the same. And also, quite frankly, I'm tired of the I'm Charlotte Flair. We're gonna wrestle for the women's title right now, and she wins in a roll up or wins in a few minutes. It annoys me. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not granted, I'm not as entirely as educated on Ric Flair because Ric Flair's wrestled for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But like to quote to quote Trish Stratus actually, is or is all your title reigns very credible if you held them for 5 minutes or a day? I actually like to go back and look at that and fact check. How many of Charlotte's title reigns have been a day or a week? I mean, granted, a lot of guys have been like that, but guys and women that had relatively short reigns like that. But it's just it's sometimes annoying to me that championships can be hot potatoed. With the exception of the Sasha and Charlotte feud back in 2016, in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're killing each other for that title, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like Rock and McFoley did. But I don't know, bro. I'm really doing my best to not hate because Charlotte is great. She is, but
Yeah.
it's just I'm really am getting a little tired of her character being I'm Ric Flair's daughter, or now Ric Flair's just you're my dad because of what I've
Mm-hmm.
accomplished, and she has accomplished a lot. I'm sorry for repeating myself, but just she's been getting old to me.
Yeah. I just feel like first the Zoom meeting says we have 10 minutes left. So whenever it ends, we'll pause and just make a new one.
Are you sure it'll save the recording?
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
And then so let me just get back into this. Yeah, I just think there's no like what else can she do, you know? Like what else
Right.
can she be? Like what would her other character be or persona be?
And I get that maybe just a little more aggressive. You know what? Honestly, this just came to my mind. How you feel about Cody right now is how I feel about Charlotte.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I see that.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is I don't I don't really love Charlotte, but I don't mind her. I respect her. How about that? I
Right.
respect her. Yeah.
So yeah, I felt like that segment was pointless, and I completely hear what you're saying about like,
Yeah.
I beat Oscar, you're next in line, Chief,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, Oscar beat you, right? I mean, like,
Yeah, bro. Like,
why are you?
why are you still getting title shots? Like, she like I understand, like, but you already had your rematch. Didn't she already have a rematch?
I don't think she did.
No?
I thought she was saying, "Oh, I'm finally getting my
Oh
rematch from
yeah,
where
yeah,
she
yeah,
beat
because
me."
they took it at Night Champions. Okay, okay, okay,
Right.
okay. Yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean, you know what? I guess to be fair, rubber match, but we'll get into how the match ended. So maybe this isn't their last match together, but regardless,
yeah. Yeah. And I just think they need to turn Bianca heel. What are they waiting for? Just turn her heel. Like,
yes, I was gonna say
because
that too.
and also how you feel about Charlotte, bro. I feel about Bianca. Like, it's just getting old, bro. Like,
And that's why she needs to turn heel. And I felt like it backlash when the crowd like started to go really behind Io,
yeah, I
and
love
she did it.
that.
And I did too. That I mean,
Yeah.
well, the crowd was just awesome, right? But I mean, but
Mm-hmm.
Bianca Bianca's smart. I mean, all those wrestlers are smart, but most of them know how to work a crowd. And not that she just became boom a heel right off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
but she was playing a little bit into it. Like she was getting a little cockier. She was giving a little reactions back to the crowd. We've seen her in NXT. She's capable of being a heel. She's capable of being like, I want to say a powerhouse, but like
Mm-hmm.
homegirl strong, bro.
Yeah,
I
bro.
remember in War Games when she was doing the triple power bomb to somebody,
Yeah.
like boom, lift her up, boom. I mean, Bianca's got some strong legs, bro. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she needs to come. She needs to turn heel again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And after that, Ridge and Sheamus versus Pretty Deadly, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I like Pretty Deadly, bro. They're funny, bro. They're funny, bro. I do. I can't. It's bad that I like them, but bro, I do. And
Okay, then sorry, go ahead.
no, no. But say what you have to say about Pretty Deadly first.
This is the full thing that we're disagreeing on.
Yeah, you think
And
so?
if it works for you, it works for you because what's right for you is not always right for me. You know, my opinion is not the right opinion. It's just my opinion. I don't care for them at all. I don't like them at all. It honestly makes sense to me
Bro.
that they're being with Austin Theory because Theory's title reign has now become bland.
Mm-hmm.
It was better in the first half when he was defending it relatively often on Raw. I get why they won because again, Sheamus is kind of in the giving back part of his career, even though he's still putting on banger after
Yeah,
banger after
bro.
banger, and he's staying relevant.
That's what I was gonna
Um,
say. I
I'm
think
just like, I
no,
just
you
see
good.
them and I'm like, like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just think
maybe they'll grow on me.
yeah, I did see because I felt because I've been watching NXT and the first time I saw him, I was like, "What is this, bro?" But like now, I'm like, bro, they're kind of funny, like, and they're good in the ring. I was like, they almost give like modern like the Rockers vibes, like Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, just
I
like
guess
turned up a notch, you know?
maybe it's just because they kind of remind me of the Spirit Squad. I thought the Spirit Squad was stupid.
Oh yeah, okay, I can kind of yeah, okay, 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 yeah, yeah. See, when you make it like that, it's like yeah, nah, yeah,
Like,
I see what you're saying.
but you know what? Again, I'll say this: that there more often than not, something that I usually don't like initially ends up growing on me. Like I didn't like Theory. I hated this gimmick with taking a selfie. And granted, they
Mm-hmm.
changed that. So I mean, like, and that he did end up growing on me. I didn't like what was his name down. He's not in the company anymore. Tyler Breeze. I didn't like Tyler Breeze
Oh, he's
initially.
in it. He's he does the video games with uh he plays video games with Xavier Woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I haven't seen him in
Uh-huh.
forever. I didn't
Yeah.
like Tyler Breeze initially, but he ended up growing on me. So
Okay.
maybe they will. I don't like them right now at
Yeah.
all.
Yo, speaking of Tyler Breeze, remember how he had like the thing with Fandango?
Yeah.
Bro, Fandango's an impact and he goes by Dirty Dango.
Hmm.
He goes by Dirty Dango. He's an impact. I was like,
Interesting.
bro, what? But yeah, that's all topic. But yeah, I want Sheamus to at least win the Intercontinental Championship again. And then I would love to see him with another world title run, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But
Same here. At the bare minimum, he deserves the IC title run so he can become a Grand Slam champion.
yeah, and the Brawling Brutes were here, and now they're like they were in War Games, bro, and now they're like getting fed to Pretty Deadly. Like, what are we doing? You know?
I never personally was that big into Ridge. I mean, I like him more in comparison to Pretty Deadly. I don't know. I just feel like his gimmick's just kind of just being a me. He kind of reminds me of Mojo Rawley, to be honest with you. And
Oh, okay, yeah,
um, I do still like Butch. I hate his name. I just hope eventually when they break up, the Brawling Brutes and Sheamus break up, Pete Dunne comes back and
beat,
we get a Pete Dunne versus Sheamus feud. I want the
yeah,
Bruiserweight versus the Celtic Warrior, and I just
yeah,
beat the heck out of each other, bro. That's what I
yeah.
want to see eventually.
They gotta bring
And
back Pete Dunne, bro.
that was actually a hot take that I forgot to say when we had our episode about Money in the Bank was that I feel like they missed an opportunity to bring back Pete Dunne and play his entrance music at Money in the Bank
Yeah,
because he
Money
was
in the
on
Bank,
there.
bro. That's what I thought they were gonna do. But I was like,
But
no one cares about Butch. We want NXT UK and NXT Pete Dunne, you know?
right, and same thing, Butch eventually did grow on me because I mean, he still does kind of have that aggressive factor, but just OG Pete Dunne, like, I remember when Pete Dunne even changed his theme song, and I'm like, "No, go back to the old one."
Yeah.
I've seen Pete Dunne live, actually, a bit of a fun fact when I went to the Royal
Okay.
Rumble. So, I mean,
Oh wait, I
and
seen him
his
at
theme
the
song.
I went to a live event when I was with my brother in New Mexico.
Okay, nice,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
but, like, his theme song caused a pop, you know, and he was the UK
Mm-hmm.
champ at the time, I think, but yeah, I just the match itself was fine. I'm not saying the match was bad. I'm just not a fan of most of those guys and characters. But yeah, just that's all
Yeah,
my thoughts on that one.
yeah. All right, next up we have Zelina Vega took on Bailey. It wasn't really like nah, I'm gonna take it was a squash match, bro. I don't know why they fed Zelina to Bailey like that. Maybe they're trying to build Bailey back up, but then again, like Zelina has so much potential. Why are you like feeding her to Bailey, you know?
Yeah, that kind of irritated me just because I think Zelina is really good. I think the potential. I mean, I don't even want to say potential because Zelina's like mainstream. I mean, she won Queen of the Ring at one point, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no reason that you couldn't have made this a competitive match, but then just have Bailey win dirty, you know.
Mm.
So just kind of irritated me. The match wasn't even 3 minutes, so.
Yeah, bro. Vince just loves these 2, 3 minute matches, huh? Because I know Triple H is not doing this, bro. Triple H is not doing this.
Surely not, but obviously we don't work there, so
Exactly. So we technically don't know, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Jay Uso had a promo basically saying that he's ready for Roman. That was pretty much the gist of it. But he was interrupted by Paul Heyman and Solo. And this is where things got kind of interesting. I thought Jey Uso, I always loved Jey Uso on the mic. I think he's great on the mic. He always gets me fired up. And Paul Heyman and Solo came out, Heyman said, Solo is here to enforce the peace. And he said there will be a face-off between Roman and Jay next week to discuss the terms of the match. And then Paul goes into saying it's all Jay's fault. He's like, it's your fault that Jimmy's in the hospital. It's your fault that Jimmy's hurt. And while Paul's doing that, we see Solo ask for the mic. He puts his hand out like Roman does. And I'm like, oh, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. And Solo speaks for like one of the only times we've heard him speak. And he says, um, it's all your fault too. And he says he'll never forgive Jay for doing that to Jimmy, for letting that happen to Jimmy. And then they start brawling. And eventually, as things start to get crazy, Jay and Paul are left in the ring by themselves. And Jay starts smiling at Paul. And then Solo comes up behind him. But then Jay fights Solo off. And then it's just Paul and Jay in the ring again. And Jay hits Paul with the super kick. And we see Paul Heyman sell that kick. He's so good at selling kicks and stunners. I love it so much.
I have a theory and question for you. I'll get to in a minute, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would say overall good segment. It's not the best we've had in the storyline, but Roman wasn't there. He'll be there next week. So I mean,
Yeah.
I can't be too
But
critical.
my thing is like, why you need to be here every week for this storyline? Like, why aren't you? Like, why aren't you here? I think he needs to be here every week to keep us invested, because once I knew that he wasn't going to be there, I was like, oh, just like a SmackDown with no Roman. Okay. You know?
I hear what you're saying, but it was still a good segment. It still moved the story forward. And would I would I like it if Roman was here every week? Sure, but you gotta let Jay and all these guys stand on their own too. And
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think because of this storyline, Jay and the Usos and Solo for that matter had become a draw as well.
Hmm.
Not as huge as Roman, but they've all made each other better. And I mean, still a good amount of people tuning in to see what was gonna happen next because the
Yeah.
storyline's so
Yeah. The,
um
the, the pop Jay got was crazy too. So,
yeah. So I mean, again, great. I think overall good segment. I agree with you. Jay is good on the mic. He's very passionate. Love what he said about respect everybody in the family, but you, Roman,
hmm.
you're next. So, little brother, I'm gonna give you the butt whooping again that you deserve.
Hmm.
Run it. Basically call him Paul Snake again.
Yeah.
Again, one more thing too to analyze. Like Jay and Solo going at it, and I obviously they've already wrestled in the tag match, but like I was
Hmm.
really curious to see what was going to happen between them, like fighting wise, back in Backlash when there was that again just more
Oh, yeah, yeah,
tension and
yeah, yeah,
cracks in the
yeah.
bloodline, and
Uh-huh.
Solo would tag himself in, but then Jade went
Hmm.
and tagged him like that, like he like
Yeah.
just hit his chest, and they got each other's face. He was like, "I'm your brother. Let's
Hmm.
not forget that I am your brother, actual
Yeah.
brother." I mean, I loved that, and like to actually see him get face to face again and go at it is cool for me.
Hmm.
Here's my question slash theory for you. And if any of you have seen Sons of Anarchy, you'll understand why I'm saying this. Does the lei that they wear, does the lei corrupt? And let me elaborate on that. Hear me out.
I okay.
Jay looked just a little heelish on Friday with the
Uh-huh.
jacket and wearing all black.
Hmm.
It just wee bit acted like a
Hmm.
heel to me.
Hmm.
So he wore it briefly. Obviously, Roman still has it because he's the tribal chief, but
Hmm.
does the lei corrupt?
I think it has a potential to, because once you put the lay on, I forget the correct term for the lay, but it's some
Right.
special name. I feel like once you put the lay on, you know that you're in control. So
Right.
obviously some traits are gonna come out that we haven't seen from you.
So I'm very curious if I'm right on that
Yeah.
theory.
I
Because
think you're right.
right, because like and Solo's already been all business anyway, but again, like when he held it, it was all like and then looked at Roman. I mean,
Hmm.
just it's like just the power, the head of the family, the head of the table. I'm
Hmm.
that guy. It's
Hmm.
like I don't know, bro. It can corrupt anything. Like again, I don't know if you've seen Sons of Anarchy, and for
I
those of you that are
haven't,
listening to this, okay, well, kind of a similar thing of like being the head of the club and being the head of the
hmm.
table. There's a saying in that show, "The gavel corrupts," and that turned out to be true in the show. Highly
Hmm.
recommend that show, by the way. Great show. But I don't know. Maybe that's just
Nah,
me.
dude, you're right. It's the abuse
Yeah,
of power, bro. That's a real thing, dude.
right. I mean, and I tend to read too much into things, but this storyline's had a lot of details. I couldn't help but notice that.
Yeah. Next thing was they had a United States was an invitational, so they have two fatal four-way matches. They had one this Friday and we'll have one next Friday, and the winner of those two will face, and the winner of that match will face Austin Theory. So it was Santos Escobar, Grayson Waller, um, AJ Styles, and who else was it?
Uh,
AJ
Styles is
Styles and hold
Grayson Waller.
on.
Grayson Waller.
Oh, Butch. Butch was in it.
Butch. Yeah.
Butch. I feel bad. We shouldn't be forgetting about Butch. Like that's why they need changing to be done.
Yep.
But yeah, it was an okay match. I honestly thought Grayson Waller was gonna win. But they ended up giving it to Santos Escobar. AJ Styles eventually left the match because he looked at the screen and saw that Karrion Kross had attacked the Good Brothers, the OC. So he wasn't in the match anymore. And then Santos ended up, we thought they teased that Grayson was gonna win, but then Santos came in and stole the win at the end. Which I'm not mad. I'm glad Santos gets the chance to get a, pretty big match win, but he's not gonna be the winner of the next one, which will most likely be LA Knight.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, slight hot take. This was the best match of the week, in my opinion, of Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, of
Fairly.
the week?
I think
Let
so.
me think. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Of the week sounds like a crazy take. But honestly, no. No. You're right. Yeah, you're
I
right.
mean, I'm like, well, I mean, like, what else? I mean, we had an
Yeah,
average week of
you're
wrestling, in
right.
my opinion. So, I
If
mean,
the Miz and Ciampa match finished, then it would have been the best one. But
yeah,
we got the best wrestling in this match. You're right.
yeah. I mean, definitely best match on SmackDown for sure. And
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, good action. All those guys are very athletics. I mean, it was really nice, just combinations and whatnot. I appreciate and respect that the feud with Karrion Cross and AJ Styles is going forward, but now just a better reason for it. I couldn't help but think back to when Karrion and Cross and Jeff Hardy had that match on Raw 2 years ago, ended
Mm-hmm.
very abruptly, and Cross said like Jeff Hardy just made a huge mistake, and then they never followed up on it. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that they're moving this forward with Cross and Styles for a good reason of him attacking the Judgment Day and getting his not the Judgment Day, I'm sorry, the OC and getting his
Mm-hmm.
attention. Um, I thought the whole just hey Jay, like I thought that was a little extra, but
Bro, I was like, I can't take him serious, bro. I just
yeah, like
think, dude, I don't know, bro. It's like he's just not interesting to me. I think it's hard for him. It's gonna be hard for him to bounce back after his first main roster run when Vince first brought him up. But I'm hoping that this, first of all, I just want to say AJ Styles deserves better. He needs to be world champion, first and foremost, because he only has a little bit of wrestling left in him. But I'm
yeah.
hoping that this feud with AJ helps Karrion become the NXT Karrion,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and not to go down the rabbit hole of Karrion Cross, I think when Cross came back initially when Hunter was in charge, and I thought he started off strong. I thought his feud with Drew, I think like they kind of booked themselves into a corner of like who do they want to like make
Yeah. Didn't they
look
have like a
better.
weird match too?
They had the strap
The
match,
strap match, yeah.
which was fine. I mean, I liked it just because I appreciated that every match at Extreme Rules that year actually had a stipulation, and then they had the
Hmm.
steel cage match, and Drew won that, and
Yeah.
ultimately won the feud. But I don't know. Like I felt like he started off strong, and then it was kind of like Triple H would happen, man. Like Cross was booked so much better in NXT. Like what's
Yeah.
going on now? But um, I like that it's moving forward. I mean, both guys are capable of having a very good match. I feel like I say that
Yeah.
a lot, but most people on the roster are very very talented.
Hmm.
Um, I liked it. I couldn't take the AJ very seriously,
Yeah,
but
me
I liked
neither.
it, and I like Santos Escobar. I like that he getting a little more wins, but transitioning now, unless if you have more thoughts.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Oh,
I've just thought about this. I think whenever we see Bray again, I think he could be a person to help revitalize Karrion and be able to allow us to take him more serious.
that's a good point. If done right, would be a great feud.
Yeah,
Bray Wyatt in of himself is a whole video, bro. But we won't get
yeah,
down that rabbit hole.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, praise to Bray Wyatt. I think they said he was suffering from an illness or something, but we don't really know, but I just hope he's okay.
Yeah.
All right, what were you gonna do?
I was gonna just say transitioning, and I agree with you to LA Knight. I assuming LA Knight wins. It just seems like that's the route that they're going on because he got
Yeah,
his own segment on Friday.
dude, if he
It's gonna
doesn't
be a good
win,
match.
I give up. If he doesn't win, I give up. I do.
So, and I have to agree with you on that. And I just want to say this: I kind of thought about during his promo segment talking about how he's clearly going to be in the Fatal Four Way and he's coming after Theory. We kind of compared him to Rock and Austin, like kind of was making those analogies of like he has that vibe with the promos. Like I read a comment on YouTube because I watched a video called LA Knight's like most savage moments. And I
Mm-hmm.
read a comment, whoever said this, if you're watching, strongly agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
LA Knight is taking what made Rock and Austin great, but doing his own version of it.
Yeah. He's just
And
yeah.
yeah, and to I guess to kind of play devil's advocate, we feel like we've been talking about him not winning Money in the Bank in a while, but I'm going to say this: Steve and Dwayne won mid card or tag titles before they became world champions.
Yeah. They were both
Mo-
Intercontinental champions and yeah,
So most stars usually, keyword usually, win a mid card title to kind of build their resume, and then they become a main eventer. So I can get down with LA Knight being the United States champion and making
Yeah,
that title more credible.
yeah, definitely. He can definitely rebuild the U.S. Title up and then eventually get the world championship down the line,
Yeah, and I mean, quite frankly, I mean, if he's getting tops of the U.S.
bro.
champion, that's pretty cool if you
Dude,
ask
it's
me.
so crazy. Without a belt, he gets the loudest pops right now, bro. It's crazy. Like he just knows how
Yep,
to work a crowd.
yep. Just
Yep.
let me talk to you
Let me talk to you. I love that, bro. Yes.
yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
yeah, he bro's definitely grown on me more as
Yeah.
like I've kind of been with the crowd, like I was like, don't hate him, don't like him, but then I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, like he has it.
No,
He
really.
has
Like
it.
Dusty Rhodes says, he has it.
Okay, I don't
And
want to go. I'm sorry, super small
oh
tangent.
no, no, you're good.
When Roman
Oh,
did
when
that
he did the
impression,
impersonation.
just baby, you got it. Like it's
Yeah.
such a good impression, bro. And I just love back in that storyline with Roman and Cody, the sense of realism that Dusty actually did have a relationship with Roman, but
Hmm.
super random tangent. We'll go down that.
Yeah. And then the last match was Bianca versus Asuka, which surprisingly ended in the DQ. Oh my God, DQ. Charlotte interrupted. Then we see Io and Bailey come out and they tease another Io cash in. I don't know why they're teasing the Io cash in if she's not gonna actually cash it in. But Asuka ends up getting away and Io is left still with the briefcase.
I don't like the early teases at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Um,
Bailey got misted too.
she did get misted. Um, the match is fine, I guess, and
Yeah.
I it was kind of weird that Charlotte was sitting in the front row.
Yeah, she actually remember how Bianca ended up getting the ticket
Mhm.
like at Night Champion or what was it? No, yeah, was when was that? I forget, but
I can't remember.
yeah, she came with the ticket saying I'm here, blah blah blah. And they had
Yeah.
Charlotte do the same thing. But it's not like Charlotte was even banned from ringside like Bianca was. She just showed the
Right.
like, what are we doing? That was one of the
Yeah.
things. It just seemed like too much was going on, and it was just a weird end to the show.
I will say it was kind of cool to see like Charlotte and Bailey kind of semi interact again because it's been a
Yeah.
while like
Uh-huh.
cross paths.
Hmm.
Wouldn't mind seeing a
I
Charlotte
don't know. I would
Bailey.
like to see that feud. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think Bianca actually sold that spear pretty well by
She
Charlotte.
did.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say filler because it was the main event of the night. It just didn't strongly
Bro,
resonate
you're
with
being
me.
generous. It was a filler, bro.
Yeah,
It was a main event filler, bro. Like
that's true.
you can
That's true.
tell that they don't put as much time as they need to into the women's division, which is obviously because Roman is the focus on SmackDown. But it just, it was a filler, bro. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I can't deny that. I mean, but I will say to slightly play devil's advocate, I feel like a lot of women do have a lot of storylines going on. It's
Yeah,
just
they do.
it's not getting the elbow grease that it
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah. And obviously that's part of the reason because the Roman aura is just overshadowing everything. Yeah. So it's
It's
really
the storyline
the
right now.
story, yeah. And then that was SmackDown. Like I said, it was pretty mid. I don't know what else to say. I was after I watched it, I was like, I mean, okay. But what else can you do? Just wait till next Friday, you know?
It's like I've seen worse, I've seen better.
Yeah.
Roman's back next week. We'll
Yeah, we get the face to face,
Brock's back
so
next week on Raw. I
yeah, he
mean, so
is.
stuff will move forward. Just not everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
well, we're making pretty good on time actually. So we'll continue with our top 10 matches. I'll go first if you don't mind,
that's cool.
just because a lot of them are from this year alone. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I won't have much to say on those specific ones.
But
I'll actually go ahead and try and get out the rest of my six for the list. So just a bit of a recap. The other four was Taker's trilogy, if you will, two matches versus Shawn, the two matches versus Triple H.
hmm.
Um, and again, just a reminder, my list, I am going strictly on rewatchability. So the list can change. This is just current. And I'm Johnny, I'm sure you can kind of attest to this that we can sit here and talk about any matches that come to mind and what we like
Yeah.
about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good match. But like obviously there's only 10 spots. So
Hmm.
um I'm just gonna just quickly name these three: Roman versus Sammy, Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania this year. And I know it's super recent, but the Bloodline Civil War.
Yeah.
And all for obvious reasons. So I'll just quickly go through those three before I
Hmm.
go through the other three. Um, Roman versus Sammy just gave me vibes from CM Punk and John Cena and Money in the Bank in 2011, just because of the hometown vibe. The story was great, right? The match is great, but the story was great. I mean, I just got adrenaline and goosebumps in the match. Sammy's hometown ovation was the best since CM Punk in 2011, in my opinion. I know some people have said that, oh, Sammy should have won, should have been Sam versus Cody. I see merit in that, but I'm like, no, Roman's a draw. We
Yeah.
can't let him lose yet. But
Yeah.
just very great match. Crowd was just super into it. I mean, just that match was a pre-workout for me for about a month. Cody versus Roman, I think it's a crime that that hasn't been talked about for match of the year because same thing with its story. And I think I'm a little biased towards that match and other matches at WrestleMania this year, which don't get me wrong, WrestleMania this year was great. I
Hmm.
can say something positive about every match at WrestleMania this year, but that was the main event, like the main event of both
Yeah.
nights. It was the last match of WrestleMania weekend. And when the crowd cheers when the bell rings, that's when you know you're gonna have a good match.
Hmm.
I mean, when they ring the bell, everybody popped at that a little bit. You know, the
Hmm.
entrances were phenomenal. I
Hmm.
loved the pianos playing Roman's theme song before he came out. That was freaking cool, dude.
Yeah. With
I
the
just
yeah. Yeah.
you know, the face off they had. I mean, you don't always
Hmm.
do that at WrestleMania. You got to add that. Just I love it. Gave me goosebumps the first time I saw it when Roman did his "Ooh," and the whole stadium did it with him
Hmm.
perfectly together too. It was so cool. The commentary was great, but then go for the spear, roll up, 1, 2, kick out, drop him. When they're going to the figure four, I
Yeah.
mean, like that gave me goosebumps too. And just towards the end, when Michael Cole caught it, the Cody now with the left jabs, and everybody was
Hmm.
popping at
Hmm.
that. I mean, like split second, I was like,
Yeah. I was like,
is
it
he
might
actually
end. I was like, it
I was
might
like,
end.
is he I know, I was like, is he about to do this? Like, I was like, just like his father before him with the left jabs. I mean, just great match. Definitely a bit of a shocker that Roman won, just because again, I was genuinely 50-50 on who was gonna win. I
Same.
understand now, but just great. Great match. I've gone back and rewatched that multiple times in its entirety. And the Bloodline Civil War, again, the story was just phenomenal. I mean, they're all family members, you know, so the chemistry was there. Just Roman getting pinned. I don't have to say much about this one because we just talked about it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So those three. So I'm at 7 now. So I got three more. So I actually foreshadowed it. CM Punk versus John Cena in Money in the
Hmm.
Bank 2011. I mean, just that was the first 5-star match since I think Steve versus Brett, if I'm not mistaken, at WrestleMania 13. One of the craziest crowds of all time. That is at least a top three, top two. That's up there with ECW One Night Stand, Cena versus RVD,
Yeah.
and just
Definitely. It does give
I,
those vibes too.
right. And like I remember as a kid, I really can't remember if I watched Money in the Bank that year or not. Because I didn't always get every pay-per-view, but I was invested in that storyline with Punk and like and when he dropped the pipe bomb and say what you want about Punk, he is kind of bitter, but I know WWE isn't exactly a perfect company either. And Loki, I do think Triple H is right. You know, Punk just wanted to look the best. He didn't actually care about what was best for the company. But be all that as it may, that match was great.
Hmm.
Arguably the best match of both men's career, and especially because they are friends in real life. They've actually
Hmm.
never had any beef. Cena and Punk, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, and just almost the sense of realism with Punk threatening to leave because his contract was coming to an end and the fact that he actually did win the title. It's one of the few times that they gave the home crowd what they wanted. I mean, the match was just insane. It almost went on for an hour.
Yeah. I'm
I
pretty
mean, like,
sure even see or John Cena said he didn't mind working with Punk.
right? Yeah, they never had any problems together.
Yeah.
I mean, so just the sense of realism in that match is like really, really cool. The crowd was insane. I mean, five stars, right? You can't beat that. Well, I mean, I guess you can, but when the system gets broken, but nonetheless, I mean, it's just great. I could ramble about that match forever. Next, I got to throw in a match on Raw for this one. The Fatal 4-Way Universal Title Elimination match. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Big Cass.
Okay.
I think that was, if I really think about it, that was the last time I was genuinely excited for a Raw main event. I feel like I had to throw a Raw match in there just because Raw has been around longer than SmackDown. Love SmackDown, but Raw has always been the flagship show, whether we like it or not, from a historical standpoint. It sucked that Finn, got dislocated the shoulder and his title reign was a day, but they did the best they could with that situation. The match was hype. I mean, like Big Cass coming out and going, tonight they suck. Just the promo for the match was cool. Like right before, I think everybody looked good at that time in that match. Even though Cass was the first eliminated, he looked good.
Dude, speaking of him, he's in AEW now. He's Big
I saw
Bill.
that.
But dude, I like him, bro. Like I
I
want him to
liked him.
come back to WWE, bro. Like,
I liked him in WWE. I thought he just needed some work as a heel. He needed to kind of
yeah.
change a little bit of his attitude and character. But no, I liked him. I kind of wanted to see him versus Brock Lesnar at the time.
Now
I thought that would
that would be crazy. That'd be good.
I thought that would have been interesting. But the match was great. I mean, and just the shocking twist of Kevin Owens winning, but how Triple H turned on Seth Rollins was just a genuine shocker. I mean, the pop and reaction when Triple H did kick Seth. And I remember reading an article. I don't know if it was confirmed, but it was a theory. There's apparently the rumor was this before that match, Kevin was told that Seth was going to win, but the other
Okay.
three guys were told that Kevin was going to win. And when Triple H went in the corner and like he said something to Kevin, apparently he said, just go with it. And then hit the pedigree on Seth and looked at Kevin while he was doing it. So apparently Kevin's reaction was genuine.
Dang.
The
Yeah,
the
that's
rumor is
crazy.
that it was he wasn't acting like he was actually like, what I mean? You remember,
Yeah.
like, like that, like, which is why it took him a second to go for the
Go
pin.
for it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like he was like, "Are you serious?" I mean, like, and Kevin Nash said himself, the realest parts of wrestling when you win your first world title and when you get inducted in the Hall of Fame. So I
Yeah.
mean, it just Kevin. I mean, it gave me goosebumps getting the title and Hunter held up his head and just the like when he screamed at the same time as the crowd and they all chanted "You deserve it" at the end. I mean, that was just such a great ending to Raw. I mean, 2016 was an interesting year, but that overlap of Kevin Owens becoming world champion and Goldberg coming back was such a crazy time. That match is cool. It was very hype.
Yeah.
And last, definitely not least, because all these matches are great for me. Team Hell No and Ryback versus the Shield in the TLC match in their debut.
Man, that was a good time in WWE, you know?
It was. I remember as a kid at the time, I didn't want the Shield to win because I was very black and white. If you're face, I liked you. If you heel, you weren't. And I didn't watch that match. I didn't get the pay-per-view that year. But when I went back and watched it the first time, I was like, dang, bro. Like,
Dude, the
you know,
work Team Hell No did was so underrated. Like the
it-
therapy stuff and everything.
oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
funny. And just I remember JBL said in commentary, he was like, it's like if this match keeps going, we're gonna lose some awful good superstars. Because like at that time, that with the exception of Kane, because he was a veteran at the time, but at that time, that match showcased the future. Ryback was all right. I won't go too much into him. I mean, just he was kind of a new version of Goldberg, right? But
Right back. Yeah.
but he did do good in that match. You
Yeah,
can't
he
deny
did.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the Shield debuting did a good job, just showed how they were just a cohesive team. It low key gave me just a little ECW vibes with how much they used the weapons. I mean, Seth getting trapped in the ladder and Kane just going boom,
Yeah.
boom with the chair.
Mm-hmm.
The spot with the tables, all of them were good. I mean, who doesn't love tables? Seth falling off the huge ladder and all those tables. Kane choke slamming Dean through the chair. The crowd was just hyped for the match. I just
Yeah.
love Dean Ambrose's attitude, like chopping Ryback, but it doesn't affect him. But they're just like getting each other's face. And Dean's like,
Mm-hmm.
"No, I got some more for you. I don't care how big you are. We're the Shield." Does it
Yeah.
again, but then Ryback just chops him to death.
Mm-hmm.
Loved. I love the moment where Jerry Lawler called um Ryback came back in the match because he got put through the announce table, and Kane and Daniel Bryan were basically done. Like they were just beat
Yeah.
up to death. But Ryback is just like clutching against the Shield, doing all the moves on him. And they go, "It's now 3-on-1," and Lawler goes, "Well, it looks like 1-on-3," because he
Mm-hmm.
was like just beating them up. Just hard hitting, great spots. Kane obviously a little older at the time, but still had some agility left in him. Like he did the clothesline off the top rope to Dean.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched that match in a minute, but in my life, I've gone back and watched that match a lot.
Yeah.
It's just not from a technical standpoint, but it was hype. The crowd was into it, and just a lot of adrenaline filled moments. I love adrenaline in my matches. I do.
Yeah.
If you
Nah.
haven't noticed a trend.
Yeah.
So for now, that is my top 10.
All right. Dude, my top 10 is all over the place. I don't even know if I have enough to fill the top 10. I think I'm gonna just have 9. But I'm gonna just go off the ones that I want to do first. The first one happened last week. It was FTR versus Bullet Club Gold. It was on Collision, and they're having another one, 2 out of 3 falls one tonight. Bro, Jay White, Juice Robinson versus FTR. Bro, it was so great. And one of the matches ended up Athena versus Willow Nightingale ended up getting canceled. So they had 30 minutes to fill. And bro, they just put on a banger, bro. Like they put on a banger, bro. Like it was like FTR, like they went back to their revival days and like, yeah, we're gonna
Right.
show them tonight, bro. Which I hope they end up coming back to WWE. I really do hope. Because they haven't done anything with these titles in AEW. Second one, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode, NXT Takeover. This was when Adam Cole debuted. Adam Cole debuted, and he attacked Drew McIntyre with Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong or Bobby Fish. I forget which one. I think Roderick Strong came after.
Yeah, Strong was it in the
Yeah,
Undisputed
yeah.
Era. Yeah.
So it was Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. And bro, I remember like when I first learned about Adam Cole, and you know when you first learn about a wrestler and you start to look at their debuts and stuff, and I saw that debut and I was like, yo, like this is crazy. Like, and he held the belt over top of McIntyre at the end. And then I was sold. I'm like, bro, Adam Cole is my guy. So I'll for now forever be Adam Cole fan.
Can I ask you something real quick? Not to interrupt your list.
You're good.
Is that one of your favorite matches because of the match and the debut of Adam Cole, or just because of Adam Cole debuting?
No, it's definitely because I'm a Bobby Roode fan too.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think he's the biggest what if. Like he could be world champion material, bro. Still now, even. I don't even know if he's still signed to a WWE contract, but I hope he is, and I hope he comes back, honestly.
Right.
Next one is Gargano versus Ciampa Takeover Brooklyn for Last Man Standing. I don't really have to say anything about that. Those two put on great matches. The history between them, those we're never gonna get those days back, and I just wish that as far stretch as it is, like I wish we could get that NXT back. You know what I mean?
Right.
My next one actually is crazy because it includes Ricochet, and it's Ricochet, Adam Cole, Takeover New York, and just the wrestling in that match, bro. When I watch that match, I still get goosebumps. The things they were able to do, the chemistry they have in the ring, bro, it was just insane. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, you're talking about when Ricochet did the backflip and Cole
Yes,
bought him in.
bro.
Oh,
Yes, bro.
that match was phenomenal. I mean that was just prime NXT. I mean, kick out. It was so hype when Ricochet won that match.
Bro, like we need that Ricochet back. Like you could take that Ricochet serious, you know?
Yes.
Like he wrestled. He didn't just do moves. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah, that was a great
And
match.
yeah, I'm saying. And then my last one, see, this is where I don't know which one I want to pick. Hmm. 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 I think I'm gonna go.
Decisions.
I think I'm gonna go Becky and Sasha Hell in a Cell. This was like you haven't seen that one? I forget what.
Nikki and Sasha.
Yeah, Becky and Sasha Hell in a Cell. Let me figure out what year it was.
Did I just forget about that? I thought it was Bailey and Sasha.
Yeah, it was Becky and Sasha, Hell in a Cell. What year was this, dude? I just watched it not too long ago.
Did I just forget?
2019, 2019, 2019, 2019.
I just
Dude,
completely forgot about
I
that.
don't
I
know if
haven't
it's
seen it.
just because I'm biased and I like Becky Lynch, but she's not even the reason I like this match. It was because Sasha too, like especially because like we haven't got a lot of women Hell in a Cell matches.
Mhm.
And when I first watched this match, I was like, yo, this is like a slept on banger, bruh. Like, you know the move, I don't know what it's called, the move Sasha does where she like runs and like hits you with both her knees at the same time. You know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about? It
Yeah.
was that, and it was like a crazy spot on the side of the cell, and it just looked like it just like murdered Becky, bruh. I was like, this is really like they're really showcasing how like aggressive and gruesome like women's wrestling can be. And I
Right.
think we that's what we need more. Like imagine, bro, imagine Rhea and Raquel in the Hell in a Cell, bro. Like tell me that wouldn't be a banger, bro.
If done
Like, bro,
correctly. But
that's what I'm saying. Like we need more women's matches with crazy stipulations like that. But I think that's all I'm gonna do because I don't want to get too crazy right now.
yeah.
So yeah, FTR Bullet Club Gold, Drew versus Rude. Gargano Ciampa, Last Man Standing, and Becky Sasha Hell in the Cell 2019.
Taker's 4 WrestleMania matches, Shawn and Triple H, um, Roman versus Sammy, Roman versus Cody, Bloodline Civil War, Punk versus Cena, Money in the Bank, the Fatal 4-Way Universal title, and Shield debut.
Oh wait, I meant to say, did I say Ricochet Adam Cole at the end?
Yes.
Yeah,
Or
okay, yeah.
no, just not now, but
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
you did
yeah.
say that.
Ricochet Adam Cole. Yeah, bro. That's a wrap for this episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, enjoyed our takes. Very hot takes, some of us, both of us at times. But yeah, it wasn't really that interesting of a week, but it was another week of wrestling, so we can't complain. Make sure to be on the lookout for next week's video. Hopefully, we'll have some good content to come out about the Roman and Jay face to face. But we thank you all for watching another one. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Thank God for Wrestling Pod. Once again, I'm Johnny King with my host CJ McClure. And anything you want to say, CJ?
Thank God for wrestling.
Yes, sir. Thank God for wrestling. We'll see you guys in the next one.